quick little garden tour. Vegetable garden. I want to start with the perennials that I have planted around the outside. We've got catmint. Mint is a really good plant. It helps bring in beneficial pollinators. It helps to repel some things that we don't want. I just threw down some marigold seeds, not the French kind, the kind that get taller and have, I think, white blooms. I can't remember. Thought that might be nice if those will take and come up in there in between the catmints. And then we have a collection of some different kinds of yarrow. Yarrow is another really good vegetable companion. Then we have, I think this is some Guiam, and these are some penstemon that I grew from seed last year. Here we have a different kind of yarrow. It's a white kind, I believe. And then I just threw down some lilac, purpley colored zinnia seeds, and a moonlight, it's called moonlight African marigolds. A little bit between the small kind that you would put closer to the vegetables and the tall kind. So we'll see how that works out together. Over here is some calendula, or calendula is how I had been pronouncing it. I don't know which one's the right way. I think these are some self-seeders from last year, and I just threw down a couple more packets of some of that. Is another good vegetable bed companion, and my understanding is you can also use it for some medicinal purposes. So we'll see if I figure out how to do that. This is the biggest bed of garlic. You can see they seem to be pretty happy. There are some of them that already are putting up their scapes, so that seems early to me, but we'll see. I'm going to leave those go until they start to come up and actually curl before I snip those off, because goodness gracious, it's only the middle of May. And typically garlic wouldn't need to be being harvested here until closer to like July 4th. So they have a good, hopefully, 6 more weeks of growing and putting on some size. There are several other places where there's garlic that, as you can see, also looking pretty happy. And then today I have planted tomatoes in throughout here, as well as over in this garden bed. This is some thyme. Thyme tends to be a perennial, and this has proven to be so far. It survived all through the winter here in this bed and has come back looking super happy. In fact, it's even blooming over there. So we've got some thyme that has come back. It'll probably actually need to trim that back so it doesn't take over the bed. But then we have here, these are the tomato plants that are more of the slicing or paste kind that I have put in here throughout this bed. This is a potato plant that has just come back all by itself. There must have been a small potato I missed. It stayed in the ground over the winter. And here we go. I've decided to leave it until it is interfering with the shallots that are growing behind, and see, maybe I can get some new potatoes early. And then we've got some onions here. I decided to try an experiment. These onions I have decided to snip. All of my onions are very flipsy-flopsy, flopping over, just because their stems haven't gotten that sturdiness yet. You can see here's some of the shallots I did not trim up. That's what they all look like. I decided as an experiment to give these a trim. I've seen some debate about that in different gardening groups, and so I wanted to do an experiment and see what happens. Here's my broccoli, or some of my broccoli. I see I've got a head here that probably could be harvested. I already did do one harvest already back here of some of these. And then the other thing I did today to help out my onions is I have trimmed some of the bigger leaves that were here. Because my theory is they've got lots of really big leaves. I don't think those plants needed the ones down here, and that's going to give my onions more access to the sun. So we'll see how that works out. These are a few leftover tomato plants that I'm just going to leave here for the moment until I make sure that the tomato plants that I've planted all root in and are happy. This bed over here has kind of a conglomeration right now. We've got some carrots, and then these are the cherry type tomato plants. 3 or 4 or 5 different varieties over here. Got some more garlic, got some onions, and I've got some pea pod pea plants. So far they have not put on any blooms, so therefore no pea pods yet, which I feel like At this point, I had some last year, and I'm a little concerned that it's going to get hot and I may not get any pea pods. So, but we'll see. Even if I don't get any pea pods, the peas put some nitrogen. They fix the nitrogen in your soil, so that will do some good things for this part of the garden, hopefully. There's also one arugula plant mixed in here with some onions. I have some bean plants here that are the kind that will like pole beans. There's a weed, and I've planted them here right by this trellis so that they will hopefully do what the peas are doing eventually and just trellis up over, and that way they're not taking up bed space. Got a few garlic chives, which I planted those last year, and I thought for sure they were gonna not do anything, and look here, they came back this year and are just looking fantastic. So we'll see how that does. I have a few little random clusters of onions that, as an experiment, I wanted to see how big of an onion I would get if I just planted a bunch and let them come up, and when they start to bulb, the theory is they'll push away from each other and I'll still get onions, just maybe not quite as big. Have a few more carrots tucked in with the garlic, and then we have some lettuce and onion together, because my theory was I'm going to be harvesting this lettuce. As you can see, it's pretty much ready. I've already harvested a little bit, need to do some more. And so once I do that, then the onions will no longer have to be kind of fighting for access to the sun. And so hopefully that'll work out to give me more produce in about the same amount of space. So we'll see how that works. And then here over in this bed, we have the peppers mixed in with some more onions and some more garlic, some more lettuce that again will be getting harvested here fairly soon. I would love to be able to do better with what they call succession planting with lettuce. I don't seem to be very good at it. I plant a bunch, way more than I can eat, because as you can see, there's some more over there. And then I have to end up giving a bunch of it away, because lettuce, to my knowledge, there's not a great way to preserve lettuce to be able to enjoy it later. So friends at work are going to get some lettuce, I think, here soon. Anyways, got another type of garlic over here, as well as some more onions. These are some onions that I planted last year, but they looked so puny, and I kind of forgot about them and figured they would just decompose over the winter, and gosh darn, they just have come back, and I'm waiting to see if they'll actually maybe bloom, and then maybe I could try harvesting some onion seeds and just to see. I don't think the onions themselves are probably going to get very big. I'm waiting to see. And interestingly enough, this one is doing this like curlicue thing, kind of almost like what garlic does when it puts up a scape. So anyways, that's an experiment. We'll see how that goes. And then we've got some more garlic. It's a little bit more onion mixed in. The rest of the peppers kind of sprinkled throughout here. And then we've got some more carrots and some lettuce. We'll see how that all goes. And then where the lettuces are here and where the broccoli is there is where I will be planting my sweet potato vines. So those will be going in probably, I'm not sure, soon-ish, in the next couple weeks probably. So that'll work out good. I'll be able to harvest this. I'll harvest this lettuce and put some sweet potato vines in there. The carrots I'm going to leave go and let them get obviously way bigger. They're like more like just a root at this point than a carrot. So that's the state of the vegetable garden, or at least this vegetable garden. I also have some things in the starter garden, but excuse the mess. I've been planting, and surprisingly enough, even though it's only supposedly around 70 something, 80 degrees, I got really hot. So anyways, thanks for joining me here in Aunt Susan's garden for a little tour in mid-May. P.S. Greenstalk update. Some of the potatoes are already growing potato plants. The bare root strawberries, not looking good. I think they may be duds. But, the flowers I started from seed are looking just beautiful. The ranunculus that I added a week or two ago are coming up and looking healthy. But the violas and the pansies are just in their glory right now. Isn't that just the prettiest thing? Oh my goodness. But look, we have potato plants in several of the pockets. So yay. Boo, these strawberries do not seem to be waking up either. I'm not going to give up. Well, I'm close. Anyways, so P.S. for the Greenstalk so far seems to be going well. Lots of potato plants starting to come up.